Every game against the Brewers, the Mets had a lead. This is the Mets team that fortified their bullpen significantly at the trade deadline. Wait, was that the Yankees or the Mets, Coca? I can't remember. Oh, yeah, both. This is a Mets team that led 2-0 in game one, 4-3 in game two, and 5-0 yesterday, and couldn't close out any of the games. This is a Mets team that's lost 7 straight, 11 of their last 12. Their wild card lead is down to 1.5 games over the Cincinnati Reds. This is a team that can't pitch. This is a team that can't hit. Other than that, this is a team that is nails. Now, for all of you Mets fans out there, I'm talking to all of you, no matter how old you are. There are Mets fans as old as 95. There's Mets fans. Let me do that better, Coca. I don't want to screw that up because people will be listening to this. 4869. Let me get ready here. There are Mets fans as old as 95 years old and as young as 9.5 years old. Those Mets fans have had the same reaction to the last stretch of baseball, and it's been basically liver failure. It has been absolute despondency. Why? Because the expectation for the Mets was not what the expectation was for the Yankees. Totally different. The Mets' expectation was, it's not that we're going to return to the glory that we had or defend the pennant that we won or get back to the LCS to lose. The expectation was, this is a team that is built to win a World Series because Uncle Stevie promised. Where are you, Stevie? You haven't tweeted in a while. The problem with owners tweeting is that generally they'll tweet when things are good, and when they're bad, they'll just say, don't worry, this is normal, this is normal. But then when you don't tweet, you're forced to be thinking, wait a minute, is he a front runner? Wait a minute, is he on his yacht in the Caribbean? Probably not. In the south of France? More likely. No, maybe he's just at work trying to make sure that he can keep supporting and paying for this overpriced roster that is built on absolute, forget bricks and mortar. It's built on sand and siltstone with a little bit of gravel. You know the type of gravel that when you fall on it, it can cut and get inside your elbow and then never leave there, so you live the rest of your life with a piece of gravel? That kind of gravel that's just right close enough to the surface where you have feelings, but not too many feelings. It sort of feels weird, but yet from a nerve standpoint, you're fine. Does this sound familiar to you? This is what being a Mets fan is. You're right at the surface of the potential, of the possibility of something good, and then it all goes bad. Just because you're used to it doesn't make it better. Just because you suspect that it's going to happen. Do you not remember this season when you were so good? Remember that whole first hour comment about the Mets and Yankees since June 13th? Do you know the Mets are 18-31 since June 13th? 18-31. Remember what I told you that is? Do you? Come on. Where's your retention? I mean, I can remember an entire thing. That's the cold open. I can remember that. How can you not remember what 18-31 means? That you, Rockies, Nationals, Yankees, that's it. That's your group. You're all together. You're the 4 worst teams over the course of 1/3 of a season. It's not like you're middle of the pack. What does it mean? That you still have a 1.5 game lead in the wild card? It means that's how well you were playing. But if you thought about trend, would you say the trend is your friend right now? Do you know how many Yankees... 4869. Do you know how many Mets starting pitchers? I could have said it for Yankees too, for crying out loud, Meatloaf. Do you know how many Mets starting pitchers have gone 6 innings or more since June 8th? What's your guess? What would be the number? It's got to be Clay Holmes for sure. I mean, I thought Montas did, or Manaea. One of those guys did. It's got to be. No. Do you know David Peterson is the only starting pitcher you have if you're a Mets fan who's gone 6 innings or more? Think about the craziness of that since June 8th. That's over 2 months. But don't worry. You have a lockdown closer. You did a deadline deal for the Cardinals closer, Helsley. Remember that? Well, since he's joined the Mets, can't get anyone out. But no problem. We've got Diaz in the back of the bullpen. No problem. The guy hasn't given up an earned run since April. We are GTG, baby. Oh, look, Isaac Collins went deep. Game over. Brewers walk off on a long ball, no less. On a long ball, no less. So, what do? I have got some advice for Mets fans. Here I go. I'm gonna look straight at you. You know who I'm talking about. Not you, Coca, because you're hopeless, you're miserable, and you're a hateful fan. You're waiting for the other shoe to drop, and when it drops, you just want to be right. You want to feel the misery because you wallow in the misery. You love it. It's like a rite of passage. Well, it stops now. It stops now. If you're a Mets fan, you look at Juan Soto in the middle of your lineup, and instead of feeling despondent that he's barely hitting and he looks grumpy and he may have screwed up the entire roster and the whole franchise, you're not going to think that. When you look at shortstop and you look at the great all-star Hall of Famer Francisco Lindor and you say to yourself, I am not going to waste his tenure with the Mets. No, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about the Pete Alonso tied Darryl Strawberry for the franchise record in home runs. The polar bear is hitting. He's going deep, baby, plenty. Not going to talk about that. I'm not going to go through that David Stearns is one of the great minds in all of baseball. A great hire by little Stevie Cohn. Not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about the fact that Carlos Mendoza is in completely over his head, but very good manager, very well liked. Well, no. I am going to talk about that. First, listen to some sound by Carlos Mendoza after they got swept by the Brewers.
It's hard to describe, tough, frustrating, but we got to turn the page, we got to keep going. We got to find a way to start getting the victory here. That wasn't a good showing there. They pretty much outplayed us.
Carlos, you were so close. You were so close to greatness. And I know, believe me, I know how hard it is to meet the media every day. I get it. Been there, done it, still do it. Oh, with you every day for 2 hours a day. Thank you. However, do you know what my job is? My job is to talk. My job is to describe things to you. Can you imagine if you tuned into a Nothing Personal on a random Monday and I said to you, I don't know if you watched the Mets and the Brewers play, but it's hard to describe. I can't even talk about it. And then I went right on to the next topic. How weird would that be? Wouldn't you say to yourself, dude, that's your whole job. That's all you need to do is describe. When a manager gets the microphone and your team has lost 7 straight games and 11 out of 12, if you're going to take the microphone, which you have to do by rule, what you say is, this is inexcusable. There is no question we have been outplayed and that the acquisitions we've made have not performed it the way we expected. We have not gotten the pitching or the clutch hitting that we need to get to win games, but it's going to turn around. Then you can go full Aaron Boone. We can't talk the talk. We got to walk the walk. It's easy to say we got to turn around, but now we got to do it. In the second part of Mendoza's statement, in the second part by saying, hey, we got to be better. We got to do better. Let's go right now. I'm good with it. Just don't say it's hard to describe how you feel because I'll help you because I've been there in a losing streak. I've lost 7 in a row, 11 out of 12, and won a World Series ring. Here's the thing. The way I can describe it is that the way in which we are losing games to the best team in baseball is an indicator of how far away we are from being the best team in baseball. We've got enough time to become that because that's the goal, to win the World Series and be the best team in baseball. You all want to see what happens with the best team? They don't give away at bats. You want to see what happens with the best team? They don't need to sit around waiting for the 3-run homer, walk off on Sunday notwithstanding. You want to see what it is to be the best team? They trot out pitchers after pitcher after pitcher who are forget blowing gas and velo. They are all full of pitchability, full of it. That's a positive, by the way, in case you think that full of it has pejorative connotation. It doesn't. Being full of pitchability is what you want. So that's what I would do if I'm the manager. If I'm David Stearns, instead of coming out and saying much to the chagrin of fans of any age. Wow, I don't see why we'd make any changes. Everything's great. No need to change hitting coaches. Don't I have a Coco, wait to see that the Mets hitting coaches won't be back? Chavez and Barnes next season, they're done. And David Stearns came out and said, hey, we're good here. Do you know why they're good here? Because do you know what a panic move it is in August to fire your hitting coach for a team that's supposed to win the World Series and get back to the pennant at least? You can't do that. You're not going to do it at this part of the season, so you have no choice. But the dreaded vote of confidence, I would just stay quiet.